Welcome back to Guffs Stuff podcast. I am Guff.
I'm Javen.
This week, I think we're going to be talking about gaming. So, I guess we're going to go backwards a little bit,
Or put this in front of the other one.
or put something in front of the other one,
We'll figure it
whichever. Anyway, no, going backwards instead of jumping ahead and telling you what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you some reference material to why we're going to talk about it. So, we were talking about how toxic Reddit is and how hard it is to find good news. And even searching through news, right? And searching through angry tubers.
Honestly, searching through YouTube comments is about the same way.
Oh, yeah, no, YouTube. Oh, absolutely. So it kind of got me thinking, maybe we should talk about how we've gotten our gaming news over the years. Now, yes, I have a few years of gaming news on you, just because I've been interested longer than you've really been around. So, But it doesn't really change how it's changed for me, and it's changed for you, too, because I probably didn't look at gaming news the same way you did when you first started getting into gaming, because I probably was just getting it from a totally different way. You know, I had different whatever. Anyway, so that's what I want to talk about today. So I'm going to go back years now, and the first way that we used to get gaming news is you literally had to go to your hobby store and hope that they had something that you could read on the shelf. There was no other way.
Yeah. Or you go to the grocery store and maybe they'll.
If you get a game, well, right. That was still in like the 90s though. I'm talking even farther back.
Yeah.
There was the Walden books. There was bookstores that had them that you could get game supplies from. But there was really like, other than maybe like Dragon and Dungeon magazine. I don't remember when they came out. And there was probably a few others too. That was the only way to really get gaming news. And so you had like 2 or 3 sources to get any of that from.
Yeah.
Hence why there was not 1,000 different RPGs released that people knew about. There was plenty of them released. You just didn't know about them because if you didn't make Dungeon or Dragon magazine, sorry, you probably ain't going to be part of the game. So that's how I started. How did it start for you?
I already just blurted it out a little bit ago, but basically Game Informer magazine.
Right.
Like because I had the privilege and benefit of we had like GameStop.
Right.
Like we literally had a store for video games.
That's true.
When I started gaming.
That's true.
That's not the case for people of your generation.
No, we didn't have game stores. We had hobby stores that like did railroad stuff and sometimes models, and then they bring in other stuff.
And then
maybe
big chain stores eventually carried game systems,
right,
and all that. But getting news there was no news. You walked in and you saw like the art of the Zelda box sitting on the shelf. You're like, oh, that looks cool.
You know, it's kind of funny that you speak of it because honestly, that's what separated games back in the day. I don't know if I'm just trying to think if I walk into, say, a bigger game store, does the art pull me? Or is it just I already know about it, so I just look for the book?
First thing I do when I look at a game is I look at the what does the game look like?
Right.
And what is the art style?
Yeah.
If it's cool, I'm in. No, art style isn't like the end all be all.
No, but it's definitely the first thing that you see.
But it's your first impression. Like Caves of Cud probably doesn't have as many sales as it should.
Because of its art.
Traditional roguelikes just in general, like Cogmind or Adom or whatever.
Lots of them are just basic.
Just because you look at it and you're like, why am I an @ symbol?
Right.
You know, like
I'm an exclamation point with some, tilde key.
Are these
quotes.
Are these pound symbols the number sign? Is that walls? What is that like?
That's true.
And that's a lot of people get turned off by that right away.
They do, yeah.
No, like graphics, I think are very important, or what the gameplay looks like.
Right.
Are very important, as much so. Okay. Actually, had kind of a profound insight here.
Uh-oh.
So, Game Informer. To answer your question.
Yep.
So I'm gonna move.
That
forward.
Was your first.
Yeah. Game Informer magazine
news. Yeah.
Was like that. I could look in Game Informer and I could be like, oh, a new Zelda game is coming out for the Minish Cap for Game Boy Advance.
Right.
Hell yeah, sign me up.
Right.
Right. So I just had a fairly profound insight. It's probably common knowledge. I do this a lot, where like things that are just make sense are just like simple, logical.
Right.
I'm damn near 30 years old. I'm like, oh my god, that's why that is. That makes so much sense now. Things that you just accept. You know?
Oh, right.
And then you think about it one day, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why that does that. That works. You know.
Right. There you go. Yeah, no, I have that a lot.
It's a simple thing of like, why does ice float? Oh, because it's less dense, but it's water. Why is it less dense? Well, why does it expand? Well, it's because there's air that's in there.
Right.
Like,
Right.
It's like it's stupid stuff like that.
Right.
Like, this is literally elementary level stuff, but like when you think about it at a fundamental level, it becomes more. Sorry, crazy tangent I'm off on.
No,
right
that's
now.
okay. That's
Anyways,
okay. It works.
So now that I think about it, the way I get my gaming news,
Right,
and the way I decide if I'm gonna invest mental energy into getting a game, let's say. This is before I even buy the game or play the game. It's just, do I want to spend the mental energy to learn about the game to see if I want to buy it?
Right, see if it's something you're interested in, yeah.
It is sound design and visual design.
Right.
Now, visual design also encompasses, like, gameplay. So, if I look and I see it's, like, a good example is Northgard. It's a really pleasing visual style, or Songs of Conquest, pleasing visual style, two completely different art styles.
Oh, absolutely.
But they're both pleasing to the eye. I can see what's going on in the game and from the screenshots and all that, and be like, okay, this is this type of game.
Right.
Okay, this is kind of similar to this. You know, I look at a truck, and I know it's a truck. I know it's not a Jeep or a car,
right,
or a van. It's a truck. I know what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's and I'm looking for a truck.
Right.
The other thing, like the second part of that, is reviews that are like left on the game. I'll read those.
Right.
And I usually read positives and negatives, try to find both.
Are you reading reviews on Amazon, or are you reading reviews on Steam?
Amazon, Steam,
wherever you can get them?
I usually check a few different places. Sometimes I do venture into the Reddit, although I haven't done it for games for quite a while now, because
because it's too much.
Because it's so hard to find a game that isn't just people complaining about the game and the balance and how awful it looks. Like, I went onto the Hunt Showdown Reddit, and people were like, oh, if their game didn't look like garbage. I'm like, dude, this is one of the coolest looking games I've ever seen. The graphics are nice.
People are complaining about how it looks like garbage?
They're literally saying that it's unplayable because of the graphics. And I'm like, dude, like, what people complain about, that's why I'm like, it's such a cognitive dissonance. It's like that thing we talked about the other day, which we'll reference that in a second. Anyways, so user reviews, and then I talk to people.
Right.
I look, Steam has this handy thing of, oh, this friend owns this game, and they played X amount of hours. Oh, hey, Gamer Joe, what did you think of this game? What did you like about it? Okay, thanks, man.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then I buy the game and play 2,000 hours of it.
Right.
You know, like in the case of Dota.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's fundamentally, I think, how it works for most. I would assume.
That works. That's about that way for me too. Now, that's about how it works for me now.
But there's also that group that like, oh, Call of Duty's releasing a new game. They don't even look at the game or the reviews or anything. They just buy it because it's
Call of Duty.
Because it's Call of Duty. It's got to be like World at War or Black Ops 1.
Right. It's got to be the best game ever.
It's got to be, right?
Right.
Like, unfortunately, a person, let's call him Gamer Tony.
Okay.
We built him a PC. He goes and he buys Battlefield 2043 without reading any of the reviews or anything like that.
Right.
It's just, it's Battlefield. It's got to be good, right? And it was like a $60 game or $70 game at the time.
That means it's a good game.
It didn't run worth a crap. It is still one of the freaking worst reviewed games on Steam.
Oh.
Like, they just botched it. Like, just completely botched that game.
I didn't know that. I guess I don't play a lot of battle games. So.
And Battlefield has usually been like a very, like, reputable game.
Right.
Like, they've never really screwed the pooch, for lack of a better term. But they just dropped the ball completely. And it was just a horrible release. And Gamer Tony was uninformed about the game and uninformed about refund policies and all this and that, and spent all this time trying to get the game to work. And he eventually stuck with a game that didn't work.
Right.
And it's like it's just aggravating.
Yeah, well, there you go. No, I like doing reviews like that. I don't like guessing anymore.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that with the way things, okay, like I say, back in the day it was art, and then, like you said, the initial look of the. I mean, even back in the day when I was buying an RPG, the art would draw you to the book every time, and the red box, the blue box, all the different D&D books. Man, just even the edge of that box was like, oh,
the
script. You see and then same thing. You go into even now you can go into Barnes and Noble and say I want to go to this fantasy section and find a decent epic RPG to read. It's the end of the book that gets you. That's the first book you're looking at. Oh, the cover's awesome. The art is just
fine. Yeah, the art. Yeah,
will get you. And I think with video games it was the same way. I remember many times going into Target or Walmart or GameStop, whenever I was out of town, obviously. And I've never heard of this game company before, but there's a giant robot on the cover shooting lots of little robots. It's got to be a cool game, right?
Yeah.
That was Total Annihilation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's also now known as Supreme Commander.
Yeah.
I think that was what they switched to.
Fun fact, there's a spiritual successor that's out for those now.
Oh?
Called Beyond All Reason.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
I think the default game mode is 8v8.
Oh, jeez.
It's crazy.
That
they have
nuts. Holy
boats
smokes.
and helicopters.
Right.
It's land, sea, air.
Yep.
Like it's insane. Anyways.
Yeah. So no. Yeah. I think that. Unfortunately, now the internet Wild West is definitely full blown and full out there. But thank you for Steam. Thank you, Steam. I actually love when Steam came out. It was absolutely despicable. I hated Steam with every ounce of my fiber.
Well, why?
Well, because you in the day, companies say Blizzard and the Command and Conquer, the Westwood Studio, I think it was at the time.
Okay.
They made games, and if you wanted to play multiplayer with somebody in a LAN, you could just use the same CD to spawn copies to play multiplayer.
Yeah.
Because there was no online, the internet wasn't huge, and there wasn't, you were over here and I'm over it. We all got together and played a lot. That was like people with real internet connections, not what we had. So Steam came out and said, okay, well, you can play on our servers. Now the company said, oh, sweet, now we don't have to do the multiplayer thing anymore. So now if I have 4 family members in my house, well, we had to buy 4 copies of the game. That sucked. Because lots of times, maybe even 2 or even 3 of the people in the house only played the game because one asked them to play a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
They didn't care about the rest of the content of the game.
Mm-hmm.
They literally just played the multiplayer aspect. And it sucked because now instead of going and buying one $50 game, the wife and I, if we were both going to play a game, we would buy multiple copies. We didn't, because we didn't want to share the CD back and forth. It was just a hassle to walk across the room, God forbid. Mm-hmm. And it was just a hassle. And then if the son, when he got old enough, then we buy 3 copies. Then when the daughter got old enough, we buy 4 copies. But Steam made us do that way prematurely, and it was very frustrating. But fast forward now, Steam will let you refund games if you don't.
You know what's funny? It's full circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because now Steam has remote play.
Yeah.
And so you can literally have 1 copy of a game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, now you can. Yeah, now you can.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy. But they've made games easier to buy. I could take my library with me from computer to computer. I don't have to reinstall and keep a copy of all those stupid CDs. Like I have shelves full of CDs at home still of games that I've bought over the years. They're just absolutely useless now.
Yeah,
they just sit there. They're pretty. They're pretty.
The activation code's only good ones.
Yeah, and so it's like, but thankfully, and the review system has helped me so much with Steam.
Even the store page, just having a dedicated page to a game where all the metrics are located, the specs, the back of the box, it's all condensed into nice, simple information. All the DLCs are linkable.
Yep.
It's something we take for granted.
And they have a community page for it.
Yeah, and a community page.
So on that store page, you just go click the community tab.
And you can see
people talk about it right there.
And it's not a review. It's like literally like, hey, this funny thing happened.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And it's something we take for granted, which is hilarious to me because, like, again, like when we started gaming, whoever was writing the Game Informer articles basically determined whether or not that game was good.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
changed so much, and so there is that. It's beautiful now.
Like
I appreciate it now.
There are some games I remember playing. It happened a few times. There were games that I thought were really fun and really interesting and really challenging, and just good games to play. And the Game Informers would be like, "Yeah, this game's trash. Don't buy it."
Right. Oh yeah, and absolutely.
That's the trouble with like websites and like IGN or Kotaku or whatever you want, whatever. That's the big issue. The fundamental issue is if you don't have a collective consciousness rating the game,
right?
But one person rating a game,
it's just their opinion, and that's it.
That's like
literally
to quote the dude. That's like your opinion,
right? Yeah, no, it's you could kind of okay. So that kind of gets us on to the other deal, and we're going to kind of push forward with this. Is Steam does it well, I think overall. I think most people would not argue with that. But then you're like, okay, so there's some people that I watch YouTube for a lot of videos too. There's a few YouTubers I've watched over the years that play games and introduce me to games that I wouldn't know about. Yeah. So I just don't have time necessarily to.
Yeah, Splattercat is
right.
a great example. Yeah.
Right. I was getting to Splattercat.
Oh,
no, that's okay. No, because that's where we're going. There's YouTubers out there that are absolutely horrific to watch video games reviews of because they're just. It's for the shock value more than anything, I think, and they get views for it, and that's fine. I'm already happy to let them keep doing that. Yeah. But then you get the guy like Splattercat Gaming, and he plays, I think, every single indie game that's ever released on Steam because he released, I swear, there's a new video almost every day on him.
The guy's on the grind.
He goes.
And he revisits them and all
that. He reviews a game. And what I like about his kind of review style is, I don't think he flat out says these games all suck. I don't know if I've ever heard him say that.
I've heard him.
He said there's games he won't play again, but while he's playing it, he explains what he likes about it and what he doesn't like, and then he just leaves it.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell you to not go get it. He's like, hey, if you like this kind of game, might be for you. Go get it.
Yeah, I think one of the things I liked, I think the most scathing review I've ever heard of him give a game was like, this just needs to cook longer, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It needs to go back in the oven and cook longer.
And some of the games he does, he'll come back a year later.
It's like, this is just difficult to play.
Yeah, because there's so many things polished, and there's command prompts popping up that shouldn't be popping up, and
it's funny to me. I kind of like the people that do like Mandalore. I don't know if you ever watch him, Mandalore Gaming. I think it's kind of a comedy value.
Okay.
It's like a review, but with like a little comedy.
Right.
Or I like watching just like Let's Plays. Like
Let's Plays are fine.
Like watching Day 9 play a game. I've watched so much.
Speaking of that, you notice he just started playing World of Warcraft for the first time.
Yeah.
What?
Which is hilarious.
The commercial release. He's like, it's been fun to watch that. Yeah. I've been enjoying that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
He's quite the personality.
I've never played World of Warcraft either, but like for him, it's like he was a Warcraft 3 pro player.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
And then he switched to StarCraft.
Yep.
But like, yeah, it's just hilarious.
Yeah,
he learned Dota as well just a few years ago.
I think he played. I don't remember exactly how long, but he played through X number of hours of the classic Warcraft because that's when he started, which just like a few weeks ago. And then he's like, "Well, I was gonna just keep going, but then I decided I wanted to do a kind of a side by side, and I'll go play the release version, which is I don't know why the classic and regular WoW." And so he's been enjoying that. It's been interesting to listen to him. But no, I like guys like that too. There's just a lot of.
And at the end of the day, saying that a game is garbage and saying that a game is awful, it might not be awful for everybody.
Right.
Some people really like Battletoads and Ghosts and Goblins. And
some people love Candy Crush.
Some people love Candy Crush.
Like, I've never understood Candy Crush for the life of me.
And, like, I've always said, too, like the Left 4 Dead clones is a great example.
Right.
I don't say don't play them. They're awful. They're trash. I'm just like, they don't do it for me.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, they just don't do it for me. I can see where people love them.
It'd be kind of like the RTS clones or the turn-based strategy clones.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you have the ones that are the kings of the game. You know, you got your Command and Conquers and your Warcraft, StarCraft,
Age of Empires, all that.
Them are the ones that were like the games. There's hundreds of offshoots. If you like the genre, that's cool. And same thing with Might and Magic. That was kind of the game to follow.
Yep.
Or Heroes of Might and Magic, sorry. And now you got Songs of Conquest, which is its own game. They're similar. They're just different.
Heroes Hour,
yeah. And any other number.
Funny because the overworld of Heroes Hour is way more like the original Tom 3.
Yep.
But the battle system's
way different.
Not even
remotely
the same thing.
It's been interesting.
But yeah, and it's really cool too. And Twitch has been a great utility because you can literally just go on Twitch, watch somebody playing the game.
Yeah.
A lot of times ask them questions.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just literally ask them a question and say, how much longer are we going to be streaming? Until we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's on chat there. Not sure, yeah. Just until we're done, I guess. I don't know. We don't really have a set.
Yeah, we're just recording
We just record a podcast, and if we record another podcast, we'll be streaming that too, so. Anyway, sorry. Back to the topic at hand here.
But yeah, it's very interesting to me how it's kind of evolved. And the backlash that has happened because of it, you know? Like in early 2013, 2014, around that time. Or late 2013, early 2014, around that time. We had, quote unquote, the first Gamergate, the Watergate of gaming. And it's funny because it fundamentally broke down to the same thing of one person saying, oh, this is a good game, go buy it, or oh, this is a bad game, don't buy it. But people were upset about the journalistic integrity of like, okay, majority of the people are like, this is a good game.
Right.
Why are you saying it's a bad game? Or majority of people are saying this is a bad game. Why are you saying it's a good game? Like, we rely on you for our gaming news.
Right.
And basically ever since then, it's kind of been like the death of it. And a lot of, Steam kind of just like, we said, set up their own review systems and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Their own marketplace. And quite honestly, like, if you're relying on things like IGN or
Games Radar or
PC
Gamer,
or
even now
PC Gamer,
yeah,
Kotaku, whatever, like, why are you gonna listen to one person's opinion who's writing an article on a game,
right? When
you can literally read everybody's opinion of it.
Yeah, though I think the only advantage to that modern media which the companies we were just naming, is that sometimes they have contacts with gaming companies and they release stuff to them before they release it to the public. But if you're gonna,
but they do that with like Splattercat and
right. But I mean, if there's a game, right,
like you could literally there's.
Oh no, it's definitely
honestly probably an infinite number of streamers out there.
Oh yeah,
at this point, at this point, or up to 8 billion, we'll say.
It's I think they said. Actually, I think I just heard that.
But like they give keys to everybody.
There's over 4 billion people on social media.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So that's half of the population. That means 1/4 of the population is too old, and the other one's too young.
Yeah.
So literally pretty much everybody as possible is on social media in some form or another.
It's very interesting to me that like that idea of like like you just said, like they'll release info to those things, like exclusive info to them now.
Right.
Like getting an exclusive now is like basically unheard of.
Yeah.
It's because why would you give it to one
when you can give it to the whole world?
When you can literally, here's 1,000 keys for the game. I believe in this product. I know it's good.
Yeah.
Here, 1,000 streamers in the RTS category. Try our game, play it on your stream at your whim. Go nuts.
Right. Yeah. No.
And then usually, not usually, but in a lot of cases, I've seen Manor Lords. Great example. The hype for Manor Lords,
huge right now. Yeah.
Because they released a beta key to a bunch of streamers, even small-time streamers, or mid-sized streams.
Heck, wow.
And people played it, and people were like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!"
Right.
All the
Guess we'll find
all
out.
the indie reviewers were like, "This is great." They literally, it's the most wishlisted game on Steam.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they had to release. They did a press release, like 2 days ago, saying like, "Look, guys, this is early access.
Calm down.
You've watched gameplay of this. Like, we're not like people have actually played the game.
Oh yeah,
and they're like, this is not a total war game. The combat is not the main focus. It's the city building." But like it's funny to me that they did that they did damage control before they release it.
Right.
So someone sees a big fight because it's kind of like false
advertising.
But it's not. They're not advertising this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
At least a couple of the streamers I watch, their thumbnails are all about the massive battles.
Yeah. And it's like that's not what the game's about.
No.
But that's the journalistic integrity at the end of the day, right? So like you could read the reviews and be like, oh, okay, it's not a battle game, or you can read what the company posts. Because guess what? That's all in the same spot.
Yeah.
On Steam.
That is, yes.
I think we're just Steam fanboys at this point. Like,
yeah, I mean, hey,
it
why
seems
not?
like the past few episodes we've just been like,
yeah, well,
Steam's
I
great.
mean, it's. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, this I broke it now. No, cancel. No. Okay, there we go. What are you doing? Anyway, yeah. So it works out. I think that. From how we got our news back in the day, relying on very few sources, to how we're getting our news now, has changed so much. And I'd say for the better overall.
Oh, yeah.
Overall, it's just, I mean,
Definitely.
Unfortunately, we do have to cycle through all the garbage. But back in the day, maybe that's all we had, and we just didn't know it.
If you never look through the garbage, if you don't look through the rough, you're not going to find a diamond.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and so now here we are, enjoying the reviews, and I'd like to safely say that the gamers themselves pushed it to this way because, we crave that information so hard, that dopamine hit of the new games and good reviews. I mean, I don't know about you, I actually like reading good reviews. I really do.
I
don't even mind reading bad reviews as long as they're well written, not just like the game's garbage because it wouldn't install on my computer from Windows XP.
Yeah.
Like, okay, on my Linux shell wouldn't run the game. Okay, move along there. Just move along.
It's great too because like when you peer review something or like read the reviews of consumers, especially on Steam, it's great because it'll be like, yeah, the game's okay, and you see they have 3,000 hours of playtime.
Right.
That speaks for itself. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And then you also get people that are like the detailed reviews, which is awesome. Yeah. Like you can find every kind of review you want. Someone will tell you like what some of the Caves of Cud reviews are hilarious.
Oh yeah,
because it's like went out, cut my face off, ate a bear, and like pooped in a shower drain.
Yeah,
love this game. 10 out of 10. We play it again.
Absolutely.
And it's like that's, I guess you could. That's Cud boiled down basically. Like but it's I don't know. It's just I'm glad of where we've ended up.
Right.
And it's funny to see the death throes and the absolute like self-importance of some of these sites.
They're just doing it. Yeah, it's all, most of the sites are just all advertisements anymore.
Yeah,
you go to the site and you'll have to read through 10 sentences or 2 sentences of text, 14 ads, 2 sentences of text, 14 ads.
Yeah.
And then they pop ups it's like, holy, why even waste my time on that anymore? I would love to go and buy a PC Gamer magazine again and just be able, or Game Informer even, and just go through and just enjoy the articles. But those days are gone now, so Steam it is. Anyway.
Community hubs and Steam are your best bet,
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, but gosh, the self-importance of the death throes of some of these, it's just been fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's like make the popcorn and watch the world burn.
Yeah.
Because it's hilarious, some of this stuff. Anyways, yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I got today, too. So I guess that'll be that for this episode.
All right.
Till next time.
Peace.
Okay. I don't know if we're going to do another view, but I'll leave it stream for a little bit. So if anybody wants to say something, they can say somethings.
Feel the need to comment on what we said.
Yeah, well, I see there's a few people popping in and out, so.
Oh, yeah. I don't have the channel up yet, so.
Yeah, that's okay.
So we got to get that new PC set up.
Yeah, once we get that set up, it'll make life a little bit easier. So. Oh, I should show what I've been working on here for a guy. Let me get.
What did we talk about in the last episode? Oh, gaming information.
Yeah. So as you know, we don't always just talk about gaming, your video games. Sometimes we do tabletop RPGs.
We talk about whatever we're doing at the time.
Yeah, we just talk about whatever. But I do want to, at some point, do an episode on 3D printing. Because it is kind of a big topic, and there's a lot of people that do talk about it already. But I don't think we've put our 10 cents worth in. Or nickels worth, or whatever you want to call it. But I have been busy printing, and I will show you this here.
I like the guy that's like, it's not a hobby. 3D printing.
Oh, it's not a hobby? Oh.
No, it's not a hobby.
Oh.
It's a tool for your hobby. It's not a hobby in and of itself.
Right.
But
I mean,
you don't do anything. Like you slice something for 15 minutes.
Right.
And then you watch it. You go touch grass, hopefully, while it's printing. Like, it's not a hobby.
Turn around. There we go. Oh yeah. Well,
I guess, I don't know. That's a poor argument, too, because it is a hobby, I guess.
Well, I think anything you can do just to tinker around with is kind of a hobby.
Baking's a hobby, right?
Eating a hobby. I kind of like that part of the baking.
Yeah.
I don't mind baking, but
baking, saying baking's a hobby applies the same logic as 3D printing. You spend 20 minutes prepping something, and then you wait 4 hours.
Right.
to enjoy it, right? Like.
So there we go. That's my latest project.
So sick.
That is going to be that is an arena. Let's see if I have a mini here. Oh, I do have minis. Look at that. Hot dog. Oh, you just nuked yourself. Good.
I was trying to get some light on the thing.
Let's see if we can actually find that.
Ready? Huzzah.
There we go. Yeah. I'm trying to find an actual mini. I guess I got a pewter mini here. As you can see, that's a pewter. Well, it's a regular size mini over there. That pewter mini's not exactly the best thing.
We got a 32 mil.
No, let me put this. Put this back on a tripod here.
I don't know what this is, but we'll use this.
Okay, there we go.
Actually, this looks big.
That is a Goliath, I think, or a Furbolg. But either way, that'll work. There we go. Yeah, that's a. I don't know. It's either Goliath or a Furbolg. But anyway, so as you can see, pretty good size arena. I mean, if you figure 1 inch squares, moving, it's 14. Well, it's 4 inches this way. Now it's probably more like 20 inches, 20 some inches this way. But nobody can, if 5 foot squares, it's 70 feet across, or 140 this way. As you can see, that's pretty wild. So,
detail turned out really good.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get some detailed footage here. Don't be falling off my stuff there. You can see And I can add more in here as much as I want. If I pull that out, I can just keep adding the straight lines to make it as long as you want.
It's the widening, I know it's a little tricky.
Yeah, the widening. Well, yeah, because this is just one. This is just the. Well, you can see there's doors. We'll go down in there. There's a little terrace. I'll see if the big lady. Oh, the big lady can't even stand there. She's too tall. I think it's a furbolg though, or a Goliath. But yeah, little gates work and everything. It's kind of cool. Been adding to our stash of stuff for the game store. Anyway, a guy commissioned this. He wanted it, so it's his now. Anyway, yeah, I think we're gonna probably call it quits today. So hopefully everybody will enjoy these videos and enjoy the time we have spent on being chaotic and nonsensical. Until next time, boing. I don't know who mission control is.